Hello, everyone. You are welcome to today's webinar session. My name is Ibukun Fashino, and I'm the Sales Development Lead here in Secure Intelligence Limited. So today, I will be sharing with us cost optimization strategies for AWS users. All right. Thank you so much for taking out time out of your busy schedule to join. And I can assure you that it's going to be worth every time that you spend. And also, I will be having an offer for you almost at the end of the webinar. So please, once you join in right now, do not leave so that you can take advantage of what I will be sharing at the end. All right. So we can get started. Firstly, I would like you to know that this session is being recorded, right? And it will be uploaded on all our social media channels. And also, while presenting, I want you to know that you can make reactions, you can drop questions, comments, contributions. For you to make reactions, there's an emoji icon on your screen. Please just click on it and then you can drop your reactions. And for your questions, there's a question icon on your screen, like a question mark. Once you click on it, then you can drop your questions, your comments, your contributions. I would love to see them all so that we can both have a successful webinar session. Okay. Moving on, I would like to introduce Secure Intelligence Limited to you and then what we do. We are solution builders. We are also technology consultants. We help to build digital products. We help to migrate to the cloud, as we are AWS partners, advanced partners at that. And then we also help you support your infrastructure in the cloud, right? And then everything that concerns your growth, your security, and then your expansion, right? This is what we are known for in CIL, and also your security. So I'm not here alone today. I'm also here with my partner. His name is Manuel, and it's just because we are discussing today, right? So at some point, I would let Emmanuel speak, right? And also, if you have questions, be it technical questions, whatever it is that it may be, right? Do not be afraid to drop your questions. Know fully well that they will all be answered, right? So getting started, we are discussing strategies for cost optimization, and there are three things we are going to be focusing on today. First is introduction to cost optimization. Second is strategies for AWS cost optimization. And then the last thing we are discussing is the first step to cost optimization. So what this means is I will going to be explaining to you what cost optimization means. How can you even cost optimize? I'll be sharing some strategies with you on how to best cost optimize, and I will also let you know some options that we have for you to start your cost optimization journey, because really after sharing the strategies, the next question on your mind is what next, right? So this is what the steps are about, and I'll be taking you through them. So firstly, I want you to understand that cost optimization is a continual process of refinement. It is also for improvement throughout your workload life cycle. And what this means is you can fully utilize all your resources. You can achieve your outcome as the lowest possible price point. So you can be sure that the amount of money you are spending, you are utilizing all of them, right? Even at the lowest possible price point. It is not until you spend thousands of dollars or a whole lot of money before you know that you're optimizing your cloud spend very well, right? The shocking part is you might even be spending a lot of money and then you are not utilizing all your resources, which might even lead to over provisioning. And there's a whole lot of cloud spend, and there is even a statistics to back that up. I'll be showing you that as the explanation goes further. So why are you cost optimizing? I mean, is there a need for it? Yes, of course, there is a need for it. And then the first thing you should know that cost optimization will save you lots of money, right? I don't know how much you are spending now, but if you need to speak to a consultant to see how best you can cost optimize, then I'll be dropping a consultation link, or a consultation link will be dropped, in the chat box, and then you can book a call with any of our consultants. But just know that cost optimization can help you save lots of money. It can help you improve your agility, right? We want to see that the amount of money you are spending, you are also utilizing, right? You are getting the right results for your right spend, right? You are scaling all your applications cost effectively, right? You are not, just like what I'm going to explain this later, but as demand rises, you can scale up. And when you don't need all of that demand, you can scale down, right? This is what cost optimization is about. And lastly, you need to have visibility, right? Cost optimization will help you have visibility and will help you make the right choices, help you make the right decisions in the organizations. If you're on this call and then you are maybe the CEO of your company, you run a startup, you own a company, or you're in charge of finances, know that there is a way you can have visibility on everything that you are spending on in AWS. You can make informed decisions. You can have a look through, right? And this way you can improve agility, and then you can save the organization lots of money instead of wastage, right? So moving on to the next slide. This is a statistical data from Everest Group, and it says that 30% of cloud spend gets wasted. I mean, it will be very shocking to know that 38% of organizations, what they spend money on in the cloud, they don't even need it, right? And this is as a result of over provisioning. What makes the cloud different is, especially AWS, is it is a pay as you go kind of service. You only pay for what you have used, right? So imagine if the things that you are paying for, some of them you don't even get to use them. If Everest is saying that there's 30% of cloud spend that is being wasted, so why did you now move to the cloud? Because if you are also on premise and then you are installing physical servers, right? If there is a high demand, you install more servers so that you can meet up with the demand that you are having, right? But the downside of on-premise kind of infrastructure is you cannot downscale, you cannot downsize. There's nothing you can do. Even when the traffic is not that much, even when you don't have that much demand, there is absolutely nothing you can do. But the cloud is different because if you need the so much demand, you can meet up. If you don't need up to that, you can downscale, right? So if you have a company, or if you're currently using AWS and you don't even have visibility on what you are spending on, then I can tell you categorically that you might be over provisioning and you might be wasting a lot of money, right? So moving on, the next thing I'm going to be sharing with you are strategies that you can use to cost optimize on AWS, right? Know that there are a whole lot of strategies that you can use, right? But I will just be touching a few of them, and I'll be explaining them. And also, Emmanuel, like I said, will also give his input and then give you more clarity to all these things, right? So are we following? Are you enjoying the session so far? If you are, let me see some of your reactions so that I know that we are here together. All right, good. Thank you so much for your contributions. So know that you can also drop in your questions. If there's anything that I'm saying that you do not understand or you need more clarity on, please do not hesitate to drop it in the chat box. Myself and Emmanuel will respond to all of them, okay? So firstly, you need to know that you can right-sizing your resources. This means that you can monitor your resources. You can adjust them based on the exact thing that you need. You can allow your storage, your services, your instances to match your workload requirements. If you don't need it, don't use it, right? If you don't need it, don't make it available, right? This will help you to avoid over provisioning. And one of the benefits of cost optimization is saving you money. You can reduce costs by just right sizing, right? Only the resources that you need is what you bring on board so that it can match your workload requirements. This is a very efficient strategy for cost optimization. The second one is you can leverage reserve instances. And what this means is instead of getting your instances on demand, right, you can buy reserve instances, right? And this means that you can get a whole lot of discount. It's usually about 30 to 75%, depending on the payment option, the terms, conditions, and all. But if you can use this to save money, I mean, why not? Why not consider it? Okay, so reserve instances is one strategy that you should also put into consideration when you are thinking of cost optimization. Okay, it has discount compared to on-demand pricing, and you should take advantage of it because it is available, right, as an AWS user. Another one to consider is spot instances. You can take advantage of this instance for your workloads. For workloads, not all type of workloads really, but for workloads that can tolerate interruptions, right? It can also help you cost optimize. It can save you a lot of money. It can even save you a lot of money, up to 90%, compared to you getting it on demand, compared to you getting it when you need them immediately, right? So first thing is right sizing. Another one is you can leverage reserve instance. Another one is you can use spot instances. So moving on to other strategies for cost optimization is you can also set up auto scaling, right? Auto scaling is, Emmanuel is here is going to be, elaborating more on that, but just know that what it means is if you have high demand, you can scale up. If you don't need as much as that, you can scale down, right? This is what auto scaling is, right? You can automate it. You can automatically scale your resources up and down based on demand. And in order to avoid wastage, this is going to help you avoid over provisioning, right? It means that when you set up auto scaling, you are only going to be paying for the resources that you need. And you can even be sure that when you set up auto scaling, you can undo traffic spikes. So if there is a high demand, right, you don't have to worry that, whether this is going to crash, are we going to be able to, take in all of this demand? That is what auto scaling is, right? It can, scale up when there is a lot of demand, when there's high traffic, and then it can scale down when you no longer need it, just like make it available on demand, and when it's no longer needed, disable. Okay, so moving on, another strategy is removing idle resources. So as a technical expert, right, you need to be able to remove idle resources. You should regularly review your AWS resources. You can terminate it, you can downsize any instance that you are not using, any database, storage, or any other service. Just know that you should be able to, one of the things that I mentioned earlier is having visibility. Cost optimization helps you have visibility. As much as you are saving money, you need to also have visibility on everything that is happening, right? And if you don't even know how this is done, right, part of CIL is Still Academy, where when we train technical capabilities, we have different courses that you can take advantage of that will actually help you cost manage. Okay, so removing idle resources is one of the strategies to cost optimization. And second to the last is constant team education. Whether you're the owner of your company, whether you're a technical expert, I think it is very important for your entire team, right, to know about cost management. The team that you're not training, the people that you're not training, you cannot blame them when there is a wastage. But if everyone is conscious, there is a culture of cost consciousness, right? Everyone knows that we don't have to waste, we are cost optimizing. And this does not need to affect every other thing that you're doing in your infrastructure. Because you're cost optimizing doesn't mean that you should not grow. Because you're cost optimizing doesn't mean that the things that you need to actually scale, you are not doing them. No. Cost optimization, like I explained earlier, is just ensuring that the amount you are spending, you are actually getting the right result for it. And then you are cost effective. So if there will be a need to train your entire team, right, it is what we do in CIL Academy. We can actually help you with individual trainings, right, where you can take cost management courses. Or if you want to train your entire team, we also have corporate trainings, for your entire team too. We will actually get to see the type of training that fits your organization or your team, and then we can come up with customized trainings for your team. Okay, so it is important to inform them, right? If they are well informed, they will know when to delete any resource, terminate any resource that is not being used. And lastly, on the strategies that I put together for cost optimization today is designing cost-aware architecture, right? One way that you can do this is using the well-architected framework principles, right? You can consider factors like elasticity, scalability, and multi-tenancy, right? You can book a call with any of our consultants because the major thing is taking you on a journey to cost optimization. So right here on my screen, I have all the strategies that I've just explained to you, right sizing, reserved instances, spot instances, setting up auto scaling, removing idle resources, ensuring that you are constantly educating your team and designing cost-aware architecture. So at this point, I would like to have Emmanuel, speak on also these strategies and any other one you might also like to add so that you get more clarity. Hi, Emmanuel. Can you hear me?
I can. Good afternoon. Good afternoon,
All right.
everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Just to retreat on the point of auto scaling, I'd like to mention that there's actually a distinction auto scaling, right? So we have two types of auto scaling in AWS. You have the horizontal scaling and then you have the vertical scaling. So when you are talking about the horizontal scaling, right? I think this one is the one that is preferred in AWS, right? Say you have an instance that is hosting a web server that you for your application, right? And then that instance can just the instance or server can just like manage 50 users at a time, and then you run an advertisement. People are now aware of your application, and then you have more people trying to access that server. You see that the server is going to be overwhelmed. A way to counteract this problem will be to auto scale, right? So horizontal scaling has to do with the fact that you can launch other instances or other servers to manage the excessive workloads you currently have, right? So you have an instance and then you scale out. Now that's what it's called. You have another instance, and now the request from your customers will be routed to the first instance and the second instance. As a result of that, it will lead to a balanced weight, right? Then the second type of scaling we have is vertical scaling, right? So scaling in this sense is known as scaling up and scaling down, right? So what it means is that you are not launching a different server. You are not increasing the number of servers you have. You are just increasing the compute power of the server, right? It's just like increasing the memory of your phone or the size of your phone, for example, or even your laptop. For example, you're using an iPhone 7, for example, and then you increase to maybe an iPhone 10 or 11, you get. So maybe the same use case, the same example I use for horizontal scaling, right? So you have increased an increased number of customers trying to reach your application, and as a result of that, you scale. Sorry, can you hear me? Can anyone confirm they can hear me? All right. So basically, you increase the size of your compute, the size of your server. For example, it can be a server that has 8 gig of space. You can increase the space now or increase the memory. So that's what we are doing in this case. But then the downside to this is that every machine, right, has a hardware limit, right? Every machine has a hardware limit, so you cannot increase a machine beyond the limit that is already existing. So that is why horizontal scaling is preferred, because you can increase the number of instances or servers you want to 100,000 or even more, right? But then for vertical scaling, there's a limit. There's a limit to the hardware, and you cannot go past that. That is why many companies, many users would always leverage horizontal scaling. I just wanted to chip that in. I thought that it would be important for our attendees. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much, Emmanuel, for your input. I'm sure that that's entered well. Okay, so moving on to the last part, which I mentioned during the agenda, is the first step to cost optimization. So, like I mentioned, we are AWS partners, and as advanced partners, we can actually help you do a whole lot, right? We can help you as regards security, support, every other thing that you can think of to ensure that your business grow and then your business scale. So I've actually put 3 things that will actually help you get started to ensure that you are fully. The first one is carrying out a well architected review. Okay. So what this means is we can help you carry out a comprehensive, well architected review. This will help you review areas where you can save a lot of money. It can help you review cost saving opportunities. You can get to see how well you're optimized for performance, how well you're optimized for security, and also cost effectiveness, right? And one of the advantages of carrying out a well architected review is that once it is carried out, and then we get to see the results, we can also carry out a remediation, which means it's just like seeing the problem, and then the remediation part is fixing the problem for you. Okay, so this is one of the things that we can actually help you get started with. If you'd like to get a well architected review for your workloads, of course you can do that using the link in the consultation. I don't know if we can see the link, but I think it should be dropped now. Okay. All right. So you can book a call with any of our consultants to see how we can help you carry out a well architected review. The second step is ensuring that you can we move on to the next slide, please. Okay, good. So ensuring that we can help you make your payments in Naira. And we actually put together this solution because once we help customers migrate to the cloud and then we start helping them to support their infrastructure, there's usually the challenge of making payments to AWS. You know, for some have a dollar card, for you, you might not, but all of these things are good, right? But one of the ways we can actually help you save money using pay in advance in Naira, right? Because we are AWS advanced partners, we can actually help you make payments directly to AWS in Naira. So what this means is you can pay in advance. We have the 3 months pay in advance option. We have 6 months, and then we also have 12 months. This means that we can even help you unlock some incentives from AWS to your company, right? It could be in form of credit, it could be in form of anything, right? But all of this measure is to ensure that you are cost optimized, right? One of the advantages of cost optimization that I mentioned when starting this webinar is to save you money. So if you are paying in advance, right, you can enjoy significant savings. You can avoid foreign exchange rate fluctuations. We know how the dollar has really messed up in the past few months, and you know, the back and forth and all of that. But if you are able to lock in the Naira equivalent, right, and then you can do that for the next 3 months, 6 months in advance, right? This means that you can save a whole lot of money. There is a retail company that we helped in Lagos They started with a 3 months pay in advance option, and when they realized how much we've helped them save, they decided to opt in for the 12 months pay in advance option. And it's not even, the 12 months is not even over, but when we recently, carried out a case study, and then when we saw how much we've helped them save, it was more than 25%. That's a whole lot of money for a company that, pays thousands of dollars to AWS. So imagine if you as a company can also pay in Naira, to us, to AWS, right? We can actually help you save lots of money. That's one of the advantages of paying in Naira. And this is also a step to cost optimization, starting your cost optimization journey. And then the last one I'm going to be talking about is cloud platform operations. What this means is we have a team of cloud platform operations specialists. And what we can help you do is we can help you implement cost saving strategies. We can help you automate your task. Everything that involves 24/7 monitoring, just know that we are here for you. And optimization, we want to ensure that you get value from your AWS resources. So if you maybe you have a technical team, or you do not, right? Or you still want us to be there for you, as your technical partner, to ensure that we can help you implement cost saving strategies. We can help you avoid over provisioning. Just like the statistics that I showed you, that, there is 30% cloud wastage, all of these things, because we have a team of cloud operations specialists, we can help you avoid over provisioning. If there are resources that you do not need, we can help you eliminate them, remove them. We can help you automate tasks, and also ensure that you are using the right thing at the right time. Okay. First thing is carrying out a well-architected review for you. Second thing is helping you make payments in Naira. And third is cloud platform operations, where we help you with 24/7 monitoring and automating all your tasks. All right. So if this is something you are interested in, there's a link in the chat box that has been dropped. Please click on the link and then book a consultation call with any of our consultants, and be sure that we will actually assist you to getting started to this. All right. So do we have any questions? And also note that if you get to book a consultation call with us, right, we can give you a free well-architected review. We can carry out a free well-architected review for you. All right. So if this is you, would like to have a conversation with you. So do we have any questions? I'll just wait, for some minutes to get to see if we have questions or not. So also know that you can catch up the recording of this on our social media platforms on YouTube, right? You can check out Secure Intelligence Limited on YouTube, and you'll be sure that you get the recording of this webinar session. And also, to catch up on all updates and other information, you can follow us on all our social media channels. You can check us out on Instagram at CIL Teams. You can check us out on LinkedIn, Secure Intelligence. You can check us out on Twitter and also on Facebook, right? And then you can catch the recording of this session on YouTube. So I don't know if you have questions. Emmanuel and I will be happy to take all of your questions. Okay, I'm looking through the Q&A to be sure that there are questions to answer. Okay, so I'll just wait for 1 more minute to be sure that we do not have questions. But if you got value from this webinar, can I get your reactions? Did you enjoy the session? Did you learn 1 or 2 things that can actually help you cost optimize? Did you learn new strategies? Or maybe the strategies that you've heard today, you've even heard them before, but just like bringing it again as a reminder. There's an emoji icon on your screen. You can click on it and then make your reactions so that I'm sure that you can hear me. Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Okay. Okay, so I think we have a question now. How do I know when to use Lambda versus when to use an EC2? Okay, Emmanuel, are you still on the call?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so we have a question in the Q&A box. Can you see it?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Nice question, really. So both Lambda and EC2, right, that compute services on AWS, right? But the difference between the two is that you use Lambda for short executions, right? While you use EC2 instances for continuous workloads, right? So this is because Lambda can only run for 15 minutes max. That is the maximum limits of Lambda. So if you have workloads that run for more than 15 minutes, you cannot use Lambda, right? You want to consider using EC2 instances, right? But if you have workloads that do not run more than 15 minutes, then you should then Lambda is a great choice, right? So that's the major distinction between these two, right? So if you have a workload that is continuously running, you'd want to deploy it in an EC2 instance. But for short execution, for just short executions here, executions that are below 15 minutes, you use Lambda. Because if you use Lambda to run your workloads that run more than 15 minutes, it will time out, right? That's like one disadvantage of Lambda. I don't know if I've answered that question.
All right. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. David, I want to be sure that Emmanuel answered your question well. And if you feel that you still need more clarity, please let us know. So there's another question, Emmanuel, and it says, can the cost be cut entirely or from current or future spending? So what this question means is that, can we have like the cost being cut entirely from what we are spending right now or what we'll be spending in the future? Do you think that's available under cost optimization?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Okay, so just read through the chart. If you click on the chart, you see the question so that you can, answer it.
So what I'm saying here is, hello, Ibukun Emmanuel. How can a cloud services business use cost optimization strategies to increase profitability? Is that what you're
Okay,
asking?
all right.
Yeah.
You can answer that first.
Okay, so um, from one way to increase profitability, right? As we know, it's not just to increase revenue. It's not just to look for ways to increase revenue, but ways to reduce costs, right? So when the cost of producing a particular thing reduces, then you see that you have more profit to yourself, right? So basically, making use of these cost optimization strategies that we exposed you today would automatically lead to profitability, right? So once you reduce your costs, once you apply the strategies, they work for you. The money that you would have otherwise wasted, since you did not know this before, right? The money now comes to profit, right? I don't know if I've answered that question, but that's how I see it.
All right.
Um,
Yes, thank you so much, Emmanuel. So can you see the question now?
yes, yes. Can the costs
Okay.
be cut entirely from current or future spending? I'm not so sure I understand, but let me just Let me just answer the way I think this question is coming. So can the cost, the person is asking, can the cost be cut entirely from current or future spending? So with AWS, right, if you're making use of things like reserved instances, right, so you can decide to not spend or to pay upfront. That's what it's called. You can decide not to pay for the fees for the reserved instances upfront. You can then shift the payment of the instances to future dates, right? So you can shift that spending to the future, or you can spend it now. I don't know if that's what you're asking, but for reserved instances, that is actually a provision that is available to the customers, right? You can decide to not pay now and to pay in the future, or you can decide to pay in the future uh, and not pay now. Or you can even decide to pay partially, right? You can decide to pay part of the money now, and then you complete paying it at the end of the agreement. I don't know if that answers that question. Okay, in what ways can our person is asking, in what ways can AWS users leverage spot instances and spot fleets to optimize costs while maintaining workload, performance, and reliability? So when you are talking about spot instances, right, I don't think you should mention reliability and workload performance because they are not mutually inclusive. They cannot happen at the same time. AWS is always advised that if you want to make use of spot instances, you should use spot instances for workloads that can be interrupted, right? Because basic spot instances, for those of us that do not know, they offer the most aggressive discounts. They are very, very cheap, 90% off, right? So basically, you are getting spare AWS resources to run your workloads. But when AWS wants the resource, they are going to give you like a 2 minutes, I think it's 2 minutes, like a 2 minutes heads up that they need it, and you need to give it to them, right? So you are if you're talking about spot instances, you should not talk about reliability again, right? You should use another thing, for example, on-demand instances, because when you talk about spot instances, you need to be aware of the fact that AWS can come and say, okay, we want our instance, so give it to us. And then, if it's something that if it's an instance that is hosting a critical application, you just lose that, right? So use spot instances for workloads that can be interrupted. For example, batch workloads, right? Things that are not that important that can run at any time. So that's that on that. I don't know if there's any other question I'm not seeing.
Okay, that was so detailed. Thank you so much, Manu. I think that's all. Unless we have others that might want to still ask questions. But also remember that you can book a consultation with any of our consultants. There is a link in the chat box, in the Q&A box, right? So just click on the link and then to take this conversation further so that we can start your cost optimization journey, okay? So just wait for 2 more minutes. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Just wait for 2 more minutes. Okay, 1 minute. If there are no more questions, then we can conclude. Okay. Okay, I think no further questions. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time. Thank you for your contributions. Most importantly, thank you for your questions. And know that you can also connect with us on all our social media platforms and we can keep the conversation going. To get started on your cost optimization journey, remember to click on the link in the Q&A box and then book a consultation with us so that we can get you started on this. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Emmanuel, for your input, and do enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, everyone.